Don't get in an oversaturated market and actually have a point of differentiation that people care about, not that you care about.
Martians landed.
Yes.
Wearing Prada suits.
Yes.
Drinking Henry Seltzer.
Yes.
Chewing juicy fruit.
Yes, and?
Your branding here.
Yes, brand.
Your message here.
Yes, and?
A verse about
Yes.
your product here.
Yes.
I'm Hersh Rephun.
Yes, and?
I'm a message therapist.
Yes.
And I have a podcast.
Yes, brand.
That's right, that's it.
Yes.
We'll help you fix the world.
Yes.
Or your bottom line.
All right.
Your bottom line.
Get it. I get it. Welcome to the Yes Brand Podcast.
In the hot seat today on Yes Brand is Nik Hall. Nik is the founder of Revive Marketing Partners. He's a former CPG brand owner who scaled and exited an 8-figure company. And after learning firsthand how difficult Amazon can be, he now helps, better for you brands figure out how to turn their platform into a profitable growth engine. And he's here with us today to talk about how he does it, how he came to do it, and how he helps other people do what they do. Welcome, Nik, to the Yes Brand podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. When we talked a couple of weeks ago, you said that that you're really interested in talking about what founders get wrong after their first bit of traction. What is it about that stage that trips people up so much?
Well, I think the early phase of any business is the most difficult because you're trying to figure out, hey, what works, what sticks. You think it's one thing, and it's always something different. And so, in the early phases, I just see these brands go out there with something that they love, product that they're like, oh, this is the best, whatever, and the market says different, or the market's too crowded, or so they have the right idea on a lot of things, but they just don't understand how to actually launch a product through Amazon or through their website or through retail.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a big, a big step. Hiring is still one of the hardest things that you deal with, especially when someone can sell themselves really well, but then the execution is a whole other story. I mean, what have you learned the hard way about spotting the difference?
Gosh, it's say it a little bit different because I'm gonna think through this as you're saying through.
Yeah. So hiring is a tough thing. Hiring is a tough thing because someone can come in and sell themselves really well to you as the
Yep.
employer, and then when it comes to the execution, that's not necessarily what they sold you in the
Yeah.
meeting. They interviewed really well, and it's very true that the interview process is for both the interviewer and the interviewee is challenging in that everybody's on their best behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was taught when I was younger, if you're interviewing for a job, interview them. You're interviewing them, act as though they already want you, and whatever it might be. But still, the hiring reality is not what it is in the interview process. And I was curious about the
Yeah.
uh
I just had someone hire me externally. I'm not for hire really, but
yeah.
I had somebody hire me, $200 million company, and they're looking to hire someone on the Amazon side. And their whole thing was, yeah, I'm gonna pay this recruiting fee and I'm gonna pay this other fee and all this stuff. I never understood recruiters for the longest time. I'm like, can't you just hire on your own? Well, I never had to hire fast enough and good enough
Right.
for certain
Right.
things that it was worth it for me. But what I'll say is like getting an expert opinion on how do you tell, right? Especially in the marketing world. Because marketing is a lot of buzzwords and a lot of whatever. But like when you're looking at a specialist, you need them to be super tactical. They need to be able to do all this stuff. Or you just say, yeah, I'll train them, right? And so figure that
Yeah.
out. And then as you grow up larger, what I think is always a difficult position is these directors or VPs. Like, how much of it needs to be strategy versus tactical? And like, do they need to know how to do the tactical? Do they need to actually do the tactical? Because a VP of a 5-person company is a lot different than a VP of a, 10,000 person company.
Yeah.
And so I always try to get all that stuff really, really straight. And then honestly, if you have somebody, this is what I've heard from all other leaders that I know. If you know somebody that knows that one thing better, or they know somebody, hire that person temporarily as a contractor to help go through all of the weeds of, are they just BSing it or are they real? And put them through some
Right.
tests and see, how do they actually think through this? And is it in line with how you set up? What I found is like a difficulty for myself is I think of a lot of things, but I don't write them all out. And so I have in my
Mhm.
head what I want, but on paper I don't. And so then when it comes to the interview process, I'm like, well, they hit most of the things on paper. Well, I forgot half of them in my head. So that's another really
Yeah.
important thing. Just get that really, really well written out.
Yeah. Now sometimes we change what we believe through our experience. In terms of training people, some people believe that anybody with the right training can succeed. What are your thoughts on that?
Probably. It probably is true to an extent. I don't know if anybody, I used to think anyone could become a millionaire until I met a number of people and I was like, well, nah, probably ain't the case.
Yeah.
Um, I think similar with that, there are certain personalities probably that you can train everything through. Do you really want to do that though? Like I just heard someone
Yeah.
that was talking about like, I don't even hire interns anymore. All you do is train them for 3 months and then they're gone. I'm like, gosh, what a cost to you, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, in a specialized business that you have now, if you're looking for a very low level position that they can go do VA type work or whatever, then that's fine. Um, for me personally, I prefer to have someone that has a number of years of experience because I can train them out of certain things better than others. But I hire for yes, experience, but more important values.
Yeah. You know what I think is, Nick, is that what type of boss we are or mentor we are will help determine also those roles. Like an intern, when I had a, a PR firm and we had, 10, 12 interns. And, the idea with some of those people was that you wanted them to really stay and grow into roles there. Other
Yeah.
ones were you felt like you were mentoring them to, go on to something else.
Yep.
But I think it helps to know going in, why am I doing this for them or for the company?
For
Like
sure.
who's really being served here? Um, and then also, if you're really good at working with experienced people, that's probably the best way to run the company. What's going
Yeah.
to work better for the company is if it suits your style, your leadership style, you
Yep.
know, and
For
that's
sure.
a big thing is, how would you describe your leadership style?
So for me, the most important thing internally is values. And so for me personally, Christianity is the most important thing. And we go through things very, very quickly early on in the interview process and after getting hired. Some people wait until getting a job, but that to me is exactly what you said. I'm transparent on things because it is what it is. And so I have a saying that we also use, which is we're direct and we're kind. And
Uh-huh.
so you getting a 70 on a test is not good. That's a C, C minus. That's
Right.
not good. And 95 is good. And so if you've got an 82, that's okay. You're doing better than a 70, but you're not an A plus. And I like hiring A plus people. And
Right.
so again, it's not rude. It's just, it is what it is. And so I make it very clear, hey, I'm not saying this with any emotion. This is not like,
Hmm.
I genuinely think that you're an amazing person. I think that you do really, really well. I think that blah, 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 blah. Like I have someone right now who has like the results that her company have seen with like, she's an employee of mine and she's incredible. Like her results are so good, but she's had the most churn recently. And
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
the churn is not good,
Yeah.
but you've performed really well on a number of these accounts. Well, so we need to figure it out. Is it a relationship thing? Is it your communication? Is it the results were good in terms of sales, but not in terms of something else that I wasn't looking? What is it? And so, but at the same time, I sit there with people and I say, I'm in a client facing business. I've got to have you on. Like, you're pretty much always on it if you're in my company. But
Right.
if you want to go work out at lunch, If you want to go do whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to have you sit at your desk Monday to Sunday. We
Right.
give half day Fridays, but if someone messages you at 4 p.m., just make sure you have your phone and whenever you see it, make sure that you send a text back. Don't send a
Yeah.
text back on Monday morning. We're just not in that business. I've been in a business before where I can wait till Monday. This business is not that. And so I just keep really, really clear expectations of what we have. And what's so funny is I sometimes think, gosh, maybe I'm being a little hard on my team. And my team's like,
Yeah.
I love this. The fact that I can go to the gym during the day, of course I'll have my phone on me. Just respond. It's no
Yeah.
big deal. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It has to be. And I think you make a good point, which is uh, people who are appreciative of the clarity so that anyone who's listening who's either run a company or been on a team knows that feeling when there's a sense of no direction, when there's a sense of what are we supposed to do, like
mhm.
what do they want us to do,
Yeah.
and it's like that's no good. Let's talk about brands for a second. So obviously you're known as an expert on scaling CPG brands on Amazon. You've also had um, some brands that simply won't win.
Yep.
How do you know when the issue isn't the marketing uh, at all, but
Yep.
it's the product or the market itself?
So I go through a test and I'll try to teach this as well as I can. It's really, really difficult to go through and do because people put opinions in this, don't put opinions. Okay. When you're going on Amazon, first you got to figure out is this an Amazon product or not? And when you go through there, if it's a completely new product that no one's ever seen, it's not an Amazon product because no one's searching for it. And so like I've got this now it doesn't mean it can't be on Amazon, but that's probably gonna be a Facebook Meta type product like that because you can show all of the new intricate, super cool. So like Dyson's new fan, Dyson's new innovative new vacuum that no one's ever seen or whatever. That's got to go through some form of way that people can see, oh, holy cow, I was using a vacuum and then I was mopping and now there's a vacuum mop together. Or there's
Right.
this new knife set that has this blah, 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 whatever. Ninja, Shark, Dyson, they're all super innovative companies. Ryobi work really well with like a TikTok, Facebook, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Next thing that I go into is let's just say you have a product that you're just making a small tweak to make it a little bit better. That's what a lot of people do in business. I honestly think it's a great way to do it. That is typically the first step to see is that going to work. Next thing that I look through on it though is what does competition look like? And the first thing I'm looking at with competition is how strong is the competition. On Amazon specifically, you want to find direct competitors. So let's just use collagen gummies for example. I was in the gummy vitamin space for a while. Don't go find biotin gummies. That's not collagen gummies. I want collagen gummies, collagen gummies, collagen gummies, all direct competitors, and let's see how this ends up laying out.
Right.
The next thing we want to look at is what are the reviews? What are like how many ratings do they have? What are the reviews? What are the good things and the bad things that they have? Do we actually have the characteristics that they're missing? Or are we hitting on the things that they're already doing well? And so you can run this stuff through any chat GPT,
Yeah.
Claude, name the thing. And then when I look at his price point comparison, if you're 5 times the cost, you're just not going to win. Absolute price is super, super important. On Amazon, it's all about conversion rate and velocity. And the velocity, just to make this quick, is you're going to have to pay for ads. Amazon's a public company.
Yeah.
They want to make more money from customers and from their vendors. So that's how they do it. Um, and then from there, the last thing you want to look at is cost per click. So like when you go into the pet space, it's freaking expensive. And when people say it's expensive, people think, well, my cost of goods is really good. My
Yeah.
margin's 75% before all these fees, blah, 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 whatever. No, no. Their cost per click is $4.50 a click. Think about even a 20, let's put it at $5 just for easy math. 20% conversion, it's costing you $25 to acquire a customer. Well, that doesn't
Right.
sound too bad, but if you have a $30 product, you made no money. And
Yeah.
so that's a really important thing to think through. And how long are you going to have to do that? Now, the brands that are doing $100 million a year, they're cool with putting in 10 million a year on advertising. And
Yeah.
so can you afford to jump in there? And so those are the ways that I always look through this to see. But the first and most biggest thing today, don't get in an oversaturated market and actually have a point of differentiation that people care about, not that you care about.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they think about Amazon, they think that it's just about the ads, the optimization tricks, that
Yeah.
it's about that. From your experience building and scaling brands, what do founders tend to misunderstand about Amazon?
Well, product choice is the biggest thing. So even in their catalog of 10 products, of their catalog of 10 products, usually two or three are going to be major winners. The other ones you're going to gradually get rid of. Um, and the second thing is like, what's funny is, and this is me too, maybe I'm just too squirrely and I move all over the place, whatever, but like a lot of founders have really, really good products that actually solve a real need and they never sell it in their images.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, you spend all this money on inventory, R&D, getting it all ready. You put tons of thought in. You did what you needed to do. And then you just slap on some pictures online. And people are like, okay, so it's just another X, Y, or Z product. Rather than being like, whoa, there's the number one advantage. There's this one company, I think it's called like Vessi or something. It's these kids' shoes. And they have a
Okay.
perfect like second image. And what it is it's a kid's shoe in the middle. All it is a kid's shoe. And it goes waterproof kids' shoes. And then it goes through and it says waterproof, um, comfy, easy slip on, whatever,
Yeah.
washable.
Washable. Yeah.
And I'm like, think about a parent. A parent is sitting out there and every freaking kid loves to run through the dang puddles and smack their feet in them. It's a pain in the
Right.
butt to put shoes on a 2-year-old.
Right.
And everything gets dirty and you have to throw them away and you just wasted 20, 30, 40, $50 on a pair of shoes. Well, you literally just solved four of the five things. I still got to buy the shoe,
Yeah.
but I'm like, everything else, I'm like, they're comfy, they're easy to slip on, and they put those factors in the right order. The most
Yeah.
important first, which is this waterproof, washable kid shoe.
Yeah. And then they're going to look anyway, the parents, at the reviews to see other secondary, tertiary stuff. How well
Exactly.
made is it? How long is it left? How true to size is it? You know,
Exactly.
the things that are not going to and what you pointed out, Nick, is the hook that you don't need or you don't use on an Instagram or a TikTok
Yeah.
because those are storytelling and like those are very hooky environments. You almost see the whole commercial first or the whole story first in pieces, and then you scroll
Yeah.
back or then whatever. But you're captive there, not for that product, despite the algorithms and all that other stuff. You're captive for a number of different reasons. But then you get hooked by this solution that is thrown
Yeah.
at you. The search aspect of Amazon that you hit on in the beginning is so important because people are not like I'm going to just well I don't know, people do all kinds of things, but they're usually on Amazon for a reason, even if they're
That's
there
right.
10 times a day,
Yep.
and they're there for and half the time they're going to put in a very specific product. What
Yep. That's
happens with
exactly
the
right.
searching for specific products and uh the advertising that's going to work for similar products, when it's similar to but it's not that brand.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Um, so you talked about you touched on your faith. Um, so you said yes to God, and then you mentioned this to me, and then following Jesus as something that changed your trajectory. It's not just part of your value system. How did
Yep.
it influence the way you run the business and the way you build relationships? You touched on it slightly, but I
Yeah,
wanted
for
to.
me, I mean, the reality is value is the most important thing. I don't care who you are. And I'm not saying that you have to follow Christianity. I genuinely believe that Christianity is the best set of values, and you can see it through true Christians, right? Like there's certain things that are, anyone can go out and they can read all their stuff and go through everything. But if you look at the way that Jesus lived, it was a substantially better way than most everyone else. And it's a way that a lot of people talk about how they want to live, but then they put some political thing on it or whatever, right? And then they make
Yeah.
one good or one bad or whatever. For me, it holds me accountable, right? And so I talk about Christianity in a couple of ways. One, because I'm genuinely proud and I'm thankful that Jesus gave his life for us, right? But the other reason is it also holds me accountable because I know I'm a sinner. I know that I'm not perfect. I know that like I need to be better in things. And let's be real, in business, one of the hardest things is someone's willing to give you money, but for the wrong thing. Do you take it or do you not? And
Yeah.
most people would go no right away. And I'm like, okay, how wrong is it? Or maybe it doesn't feel wrong. And so for me, it's a let's pull back to like what is the foundation? And where some people go is some people go with like I genuinely used to think mission, vision, values in a company are all total BS.
Hmm.
Because go look at a corporate company, they are total BS. I think Target's the perfect example of total BS. And the
Yeah.
reason I say that is because it goes from one way to the other way, to the other way, to the other way. And I'm like, no, 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 you guys don't have a
Uh-huh.
backbone. You're trying to please someone, and then you try to please the opposite person, and then you try to please the opposite person. And what you're doing is you're just pissing people off every time. I'm like, just stand strong in what you believe, but actually have like
Yeah.
good, hardcore, real belief in that stuff. And so I work
Yeah.
with people that are Jewish, that don't have any faith background, people that were Christian that now hate Christianity. And then I work with Christians. And I'm like,
Yeah.
the one thing is like I've got a couple of people in my company that have told me, hey, I genuinely do not think that it's worth it for us to charge this person again this month because of X, Y, or Z reason. And there's this part of me that fights still that I'm like, oh
Hmm.
gosh, but it's lost revenue. But it's, right? Like that's like
Yeah.
the natural flesh in me speaking. But then
Right.
I know that is the right thing. And so we're not going to do that. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
love rewarding those people for doing the
Yeah.
right thing. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And you use the word accountability, which is not a religious term, has nothing
right.
to do with anybody's religious belief. What it does is, and and I have the same thing in the Jewish faith where there's, and any faith where there's a higher authority
Yep.
that you answer to means that you don't decide everything based on how you feel in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's really all it is. Now, if someone it has a really, really strong set of values and they have no spiritual kind of connection to an organized religion
Yeah.
or a god of any kind, but they have this backbone that holds themselves accountable, that is the same kind of thing that we're talking about, where you're looking at right and wrong on an actual scale. It doesn't
Yep.
move. The scale doesn't change. The range of how to treat people humanely and how to, honor the commitments that you make in business,
Yep.
with your customers, the all of those things, those are real, those are just become real things to you.
That's
And I
right.
think the other side of that is that empathetic, side of, okay, well, now if I'm looking at, QuickBooks 101 and I'm looking at what's going to be on my balance sheet and my P&L, but I, but I feel like this is actually the right thing. That's what you're talking about also with Target, because
Yep.
no one in that case would say, okay, well, this is not the Target way, you
That's
know,
right.
you just as an example.
It's very true. I saw it from a corporate side at a point, and
Yeah.
it was, who made the values was the communications department because that's what
Oh, wow.
appropriately will go out. And let's be real, if you go to most corporations, that's where it is.
Yeah.
No, well, that's not
Well,
real. And
well,
it's hard.
I used to, I still do sometimes go inside to corporate infrastructures
Yeah.
and work on the meaning of their message, not
Yep.
the actual PR, but the meaning.
Yeah.
And the best scenario I would say to them is, let's start at the top before you even go outside. Work your way through the entire company and figure out what you believe and how you treat your employees and all of that stuff.
Yep.
Because by the time it gets to the PR and communications department, it should be obvious, right? It
Exactly.
shouldn't be something where you get to PR and communications or advertising, and that's where all of a sudden the
Yeah.
values come from, and try to pump them back up through the rear end. It
That's
doesn't
about
work.
as real as it gets.
Yeah. Well, I wanna close with a question based on another thing that kind of ties to what we were just talking about. You had said that early on you were chasing the big exit,
Oh yeah.
you know, um, and the money, and instead of focusing on building a great business, you were looking at the exit. So now looking back, what would you have done differently?
Well, one thing I talk about a lot nowadays to just entrepreneurs, people that want to be entrepreneurs, anything with it is you've got to figure out your business model first. I was talking with someone earlier and they were like, well, Jeff Bezos back in the day, he was losing billions of dollars or breaking even or not making money for the longest time, all this stuff. And that was before nowadays. Nowadays, we don't expect ChatGPT to be making money today. Yeah, they're going to bring in revenue,
Yeah.
but they're totally losing money right now. Anthropic and Claude and all these other companies, they're losing money too. And SpaceX is losing money because they're putting all this money back in just strictly for like massive exit, trillion-dollar exits, all this stuff or whatever. And, that's a different business, right? And my first business, it was CPG, and we started making decisions, not sound business decisions, but decisions based off of like, if we exit, then this. And the reality is like the market at the time was very much like certain things will get you a higher valuation, even if it doesn't come out monetarily. If you have Target's name on your back, if you have, big retailer this or, whatever it may be. But the reality is, and this is what one of our investors said, and I need to apologize to him today because I didn't really agree with him back in the day, but it's so real is if you build a business that brings in good revenue and brings in good profit, people want to buy that. All people want to buy that, right? And it depends on the valuation. They may all change their valuation and the growth rate and all this stuff. But so for me, I'm like, I had this idea of like, oh, let's sell this business for, $800 million. And we made decisions that were strictly based on that, but we knew to the bottom line we weren't going to make money or we were going to lose money. It's a little harder to sleep at night when you're losing money on stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely not
Yeah.
the ideal there. And so where I tell people now is we had one business, right? But there was different business models within the business. And so there was e-commerce, which you buy your goods, you pay for Facebook ads, pretty expensive. You get customers in either on a subscription or they continue buying, whatever it may be. That's one business model. You got Amazon's business model, which is they take more fees, but you pay a lot less in advertising. And you get paid within 14 days. The other one you get paid within, I don't know, call it 14 days from your Shopify site.
Yeah.
And then you've got retail, which retail takes 9 to 12 months to close, and then takes another 6 months to get in the doors, and then takes another 60 to 180 days to get your paycheck. And so you're waiting a year and a half, 2 years to get your first paycheck. All of them work in different ways. You just got to figure out like which model do you want because they all have really good things and all have really bad things within them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, this has been wonderful. I really appreciate your coming on. I want people to know where to find you if they want to learn more about you, learn more about your business. How do they do that?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, and honestly, I'm just sharing. I share a little bit about family and a lot about business and a little bit about God and a little bit about that. And so I'm really what my goal is through this year is just share the playbook of Amazon and how you can scale and grow a business. So if you need to do it on your own, if you want to work with a good partner or anything like that.
Thanks so much, Nick. I'm glad you're out there sharing this stuff. It's valuable info.
I appreciate it, Hersh. Thanks for having me.
All right.
If you liked the show,
Yes, and
it worked for you,
yes, then
subscribe and leave a
yes, friend.
5-star review.
Yes, friend.
Tell all your friends.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Did I make it clear?